Imagine changing your habits so you can have a natural tendency to become wealthy. Habits that help you enjoy your life instead of being depressed. Imagine building the habits that make you socially intuitive and a great influencer. Before we begin, let me ask you something, but be honest. When you woke up this morning, what did you do first? Did you check your phone or did you pick up a book? What route did you take to work? After work, did you go for a run or did you sit in front of the TV? See, most choices we make might feel like well thought out decisions, but as researchers have found, they're not. They're actually habits. They are routines and behaviors which do not require mental effort to take action on. For example, have you ever driven to work but you don't even think how to get there? You just do. Or have you always put on the same shoe first every single time without realizing it? All of these habits are automatic. You don't have to think about them. They do not require much conscious effort. They become natural tendencies. This is our brain's way to save energy and become more efficient. But just because our brains want to become more efficient doesn't mean that the habits we've built are the most effective. Our brains can't distinguish between good habits and bad habits. Your brain's job is just to systemize the behaviors into habits. Think about this. Over time, these little behaviors such as the food we eat, how we spend our money, how we talk to our kids, how we socialize, start becoming natural tendencies. With time, these habits have a huge impact in the outcome of our lives. Imagine changing your habits so you can have a natural tendency to become wealthy. Habits that help you enjoy your life instead of being depressed. Imagine building the habits that make you socially intuitive and a great influencer. Sounds amazing, but in order to change our habits, we gotta understand how habits are formed. A habit is formed in 3 steps. Number 1, the trigger. Number 2, the routine. And 3rd, the reward. The trigger is a cue that tells your brain to go on automatic mode and which habit to use. A habit cannot be formed if there's no trigger. Take this simple example of a dog, a bell, and food. When the bell goes off, the trigger, food is given to the dog, the routine. And at the end, the dog feels pleasure after eating his food, the reward. For humans, we have 5 different types of triggers that can set off a habit. Number 1, time. Simply waking up early in the morning can set up different triggers than when you wake up late, simply because the time is different. Let me know in the comments below if you do things differently when you wake up early in the morning compared to when you wake up late. Number 2, location. Have you ever walked into your kitchen and opened the refrigerator without actually looking for something? This is a great example of a location triggering a habit. Number 3, preceding events. This is when an event triggers a habit. Like for example, when you start your morning with an early workout and somehow that triggers you to be more productive during your day. Number 4, emotional state. When you feel down, maybe a little sad, what do you automatically do? Do you go and eat a snack? Do you put on some YouTube videos? Or do you go for a run? Your emotional state can be a huge trigger for both good and bad habits. Number 5, other people. The people around you can be a huge trigger of habits. Have you ever noticed how you can act a little different around certain people? See, a habit consists of a trigger, a routine, and a reward. These steps done repeatedly become automatic, but there's a hidden step that makes a habit incredibly strong and difficult to break. Let's go back to the dog example. You ring the bell, you feed the dog, and bring the dog pleasure. Studies have shown that when this process is repeated, the trigger, in this case the bell, makes the dog salivate. This is a widely used example of classical conditioning, but the important takeaway in this process is that the trigger created a craving for the reward. The brain starts anticipating the feeling the reward gives and automatically does the routine in order to get the reward. This craving is what makes a habit very strong and difficult to stop. Since stopping a habit is quite difficult, how do we break old habits? The answer is by hacking it. One option is to avoid the trigger altogether. If there's no trigger, there's no habit. Putting your phone in silent, for example, when you're doing something important, can allow you to work for long periods of time without being distracted. Or simply not giving your time to certain people who create bad habits in you. But a lot of triggers are a little harder to control, like your emotions or the weather, just to name a few examples. This is where we have to hack the habit loop. We know that we can't consistently control certain triggers. We know that our brains crave the reward once we are exposed to that trigger. and this is our brain's automatic response. So both of those can't be changed. But what we can change is the routine. For example, when you feel down and your automatic response is to go to the kitchen and eat something unhealthy to feel better, you can change your routine and talk to a friend. For example, it can make you feel better knowing that you have someone who cares about you, and your craving to feel better is satisfied. Changing a habit is not easy, but by using your triggers to override an old habit, you can create a powerful, healthy habit that can change your life forever. As always, guys, thank you for watching. Subscribe to the channel, join the Better Man Society, do awesome things, and I'll see you in the next video.